Kentaro Miura, the acclaimed mangaka behind the epic masterpiece Berserk, was born on July 11, 1966 in Chiba City, Japan. His early years were marked by a confluence of factors that would later shape his artistic vision and philosophical outlook. To understand the man behind the legendary manga, it is essential to delve into the rich tapestry of Miura's childhood. Growing up in the 1970s, Miura was immersed in a world of rapidly evolving media and entertainment. Television, comics, and the emerging video game industry played pivotal roles in shaping his young mind. His exposure to diverse narratives fueled his imagination and laid the groundwork for his future career. At an early age, Miura displayed a penchant for artistic expression, often doodling characters inspired by the heroes and villains he encountered in his favorite comics.
It's so long ago that I can't even make an approximate estimation. I guess it's around my kindergarten years, since I drew for the first time in my life before I entered elementary school. I really don't remember the very first moment. All I can remember is that I drew manga first on a notebook for university students during the second grade in elementary school. It was some kind of revelation. To please others or to receive praise by drawing was the happiest thing in my youth. I guess old habits die hard. My family moved quite often at the time. My drawings enabled me to make new friends in the schools I shifted to. Now that I think of it, it was a time when I already established my identity as a drawer in a way.
One of the most significant influences during Miura's formative years was the burgeoning manga and anime industry. As a child, he devoured a wide array of manga genres, from the fantastical realms of Isamu Tezuka's Astro Boy to the dark and mysterious tales of Devilman by Go Nagai. These early exposures to the limitless possibilities of storytelling within the manga medium left an undeniable mark on Miura's creative psyche. The themes of existentialism and the blurred lines between good and evil in Devilman left a lasting impact on Miura, foreshadowing the complex and morally ambiguous narrative landscape of Berserk. His childhood fascination with these works laid the foundation for the intricate and emotionally charged narratives that would later define Berserk. It's worth noting that Go Nagai, the creator of Devilman, was also the mind behind Violence Jack, a post-apocalyptic manga known for its brutal and visceral depictions of violence. Miura, being a big fan of Nagai's work, found great inspiration in the raw and unflinching portrayal of violence present in Violence Jack. In addition to manga, Miura found inspiration in the fantastical worlds of European literature, mythology, and medieval history. The eclectic mix of influences contributed to the unique blend of fantasy and reality that became a hallmark of his storytelling. His early exposure to the works of authors like J.R.R. Tolkien, renowned for his intricate world-building and mythic fantasy storytelling, left an imprint on Miura's creative vision. The epic scale and philosophical depth of Tolkien's narratives found echoes in the expansive and thought-provoking world of Berserk, and Friedrich Nietzsche planted the seeds of philosophical inquiry that would permeate Berserk in later years.
I wanted to draw images of the Middle Ages in Europe. I've collected quite a lot of material, like images. When I first started my work, I actually racked my brain to decide on whether to go for a historical manga, faithfully following history, or to do a fantasy manga. Now, it's been helpful that I studied history a lot at the time and in my youth. Some historical elements are taken as they are, but in some parts the age of Dracula and of Joan d'Arc are set together a little bit. In that regard, at some point I thought it would be good to make the characters wander around Europe.
Miura's childhood was not without its challenges. Raised in a working-parent household by his mother and father, constantly moving, he faced the realities of life as a latchkey kid. Although his parents fostered his love of artwork, the absence of constant parental figures and a reliance on friendships, a theme that echoes through Berserk, likely contributed to the complexity of the relationships depicted in his later work. The struggles of adolescence, coupled with the solitude of his early years, shaped Miura's understanding of human nature and the interplay between light and darkness. As Kentaro Miura entered adolescence, his passion for drawing intensified. The margins of his notebooks became the canvas for his burgeoning artistic talent, and the characters that danced across the pages hinted at the brilliance yet to come. The solitude of his youth found solace in the strokes of his pen. As he honed his craft with each passing day, little did he know that these humble beginnings would sow the seeds of a manga destined for greatness. Miura's high school days in Chiba Prefectural Makuhari High School marked a crucial juncture in his artistic journey. It was during this period that he encountered a fellow student, Kuji Mori, who shared his passion for drawing and storytelling. The two kindred spirits quickly formed a deep friendship, their shared dreams echoing through the hallways of academia. Mori, who would later become a mangaka himself, played a pivotal role in Miura's life, providing both camaraderie and creative inspiration.
So I had an ability to draw, but I wasn't zealous in building a story. In an art class at my high school, I made close friends with all those who were interested in movies or music. However, I got to realize there was some kind of emptiness in me, in getting along with them. Meanwhile, I was one of a group of 5 friends, whose goal was to be a mangaka. All of them had their own speciality other than drawing mangaka, like playing the guitar for example. We influenced and introduced each other, saying things like, "This ongoing movie is enjoyable," or "It's good to read this book, otherwise you won't be able to become a mangaka." This represented how well the friend group was. There was a thing that today's high school students can't understand. In my days, friends were also kind of rivals, so I wanted to look great to others. What should I do to look great? I had to watch movies and read books. Repeating this, I learned that manga isn't only about drawing. I acquired the ability to conceive a story. While I was a university student, precisely speaking when I entered for a prize in my university days.
Miura's fascination with manga deepened into his teens. The impact of Tetsuo Hora's Fist of the North Star or Hokuto no Ken became a beacon of inspiration. The post-apocalyptic saga's muscular characters and visceral storytelling left an indelible mark, influencing Miura's artistic style and narrative choices. The raw intensity of Fist of the North Star became a touchstone, guiding Miura towards the kind of storytelling that transcended conventional boundaries.
The cannon and the sword are my signature items. It's because I'm from the generation that was impacted directly by Hokuto no Ken. The idea is the most important part of the manga. It was a time when the idea was considered to be the core of it, preceding the story or the characters. In Hokuto no Ken, Hokuto Shinken was a lot more important than Kenshiro's actual personality. The Hokuto Shinken, once attacked they explode, that's what blew us away.
As the 1980s unfolded, the manga and anime scene underwent a transformative era, with works like Akira by Katsuhiro Otomo pushing the boundaries of storytelling. Miura was captivated by the visceral narrative and intricate world-building of Akira, its impact resonating deeply within him. This masterpiece and subsequent anime adaptation not only fueled his artistic aspirations, but also set a new standard for what manga could achieve. While the works of Tezuka and Nagai had left an immense mark on Miura during his childhood, Akira represented a paradigm shift. Its cyberpunk aesthetic, complex characters, and dystopian narrative left an imprint on Miura's creative consciousness. The echoes of Akira would reverberate through his work, influencing Berserk both in terms of tone and depth, but also in its adoption of a grittier, realistic manga style with emphasis on sprawling, vivid, detailed inking. As well as these influences, Miura's exploration extended into the realm of shoujo manga. The delicate yet powerful narratives and art style characteristic of shoujo manga left an impact on his understanding of character dynamics and emotional depth. The influence would prove pivotal in influencing Berserk, with nuanced and multi-dimensional characters transcending traditional gender expectations within the medium, especially in the effeminate aesthetic of the character Griffith.
Shoujo manga is all about expressing every feeling powerfully. And it's in that sense that it's not contrived as manga for men. Men's manga tends to come off as more calculated to sell well, whereas shoujo manga is just somehow floppier. I realize that's not a very descriptive word, but anyway, that might be something I have in common with shoujo manga.
In addition to the burgeoning manga scene, Miura's fascination with Western literature and art continued to deepen. The works of William Shakespeare, the paintings of Hieronymus Bosch, and the intricate tapestries of European history fueled his imagination. These influences would later manifest in the detailed world-building and nuanced characters that characterize Berserk. The simple but effective space opera narrative of Star Wars was also stated to have been a great factor in Miura acquiring and understanding the basics of storytelling. In the array of Miura's influences, the Queen Sava novels penned by Kaoru Kurimoto played a pivotal role. The epic scale and world-building prowess of the novels captivated Miura's imagination, contributing to the layered and intricate world he would later construct in Berserk. The influence of Gwen Saga can be seen in Miura's approach to constructing expansive and immersive universes within his manga, echoing the grandeur of high fantasy.
There are things that I've consciously borrowed from, but there are also things that have sunk to the bottom of my consciousness and popped up out of nowhere later. They've become part of me. Violence Jack and Gwen Saga are things I was obviously really into, and I do think that Gwen Saga was the biggest source for this fantasy universe. That atmosphere has just stuck with me, and now I think of it as the standard to measure things against.
While attending high school, Miura enrolled in an artistic program where he and his classmates began showcasing their works in school booklets. During this time, the relationship he formed with Kujimori developed into a friendly rivalry. Together, they collaborated on a science fiction doujinshi that they submitted to Weekly Shonen Sunday. Unfortunately, their submission was rejected in the final round of selections. At the age of 18, Miura briefly worked as an assistant to George Morikawa, renowned for creating Hajime no Ippo. Morikawa swiftly recognized Miura's exceptional artistic abilities and, acknowledging his advanced skill level, parted ways, stating that there was little more he could impart to Miura. During this period, Miura already had a portfolio featuring a formidable dark warrior wielding a colossal sword similar to Berserk's protagonist.
I have loved science fiction and fantasy since my school days. Some of my doodles from back then are similar to him. I can't say that they're the prototype for Guts, but I was able to create him by merging them together. The initial image of a knight was nothing more than a black knight with an artificial arm. Other things were inspired by various sources. For example, the appearance of the character came from science fiction. Basically, each element came from something different.
At the end of his high school years, Miura faced a pivotal decision: the pursuit of higher education or the pursuit of his artistic dreams. Opting for the latter, he enrolled in an art-focused university, the Nihon University College of Art in Tokyo. This marked a significant step towards the realization of his ambitions, placing him in an environment where creativity flourished and artistic expression was celebrated. Miura's entrance into the Nihon University College of Art marked the beginning of a transformative chapter in his life. The academic environment was a double-edged sword, while simultaneously cultivating fierce competition among aspiring artists. The pressure to stand out in a sea of talent fueled unhealthy rivalries, and Miura found himself immersed in a world where artistic expression came at a cost. Rivalries, both friendly and toxic, became a backdrop of Miura's young adulthood. The desire to prove oneself, coupled with the intense scrutiny of peers and mentors, created an environment where artistic validation often came at the expense of personal well-being. The competitive nature of the art scene in Nihon University laid the foundation for the recurring themes of rivalry and ambition that permeate the narrative of Berserk. Miura, driven by an unrelenting passion for his craft, faced the challenge of balancing artistic excellence with mental and emotional well-being. The toxic dynamics and relentless expectations took a toll on the young artist, setting the stage for the exploration of trauma, sacrifice, and the human condition in Berserk.
I don't know what relationships between boys are like these days, but back in the 80s, boys were really obsessed with stuff like how good their friends were at things, how highly they ranked in comparison to their friends, etc. For boys, friendship isn't about consoling each other, sometimes you even try to take the other guy down a peg or two. But to break away from those friends would feel like admitting defeat, and you do help each other when you find some sort of goal. That's where the Band of the Hawk comes from.
In 1985, Kentaro Miura embarked on a significant phase in his career by creating the short manga titled Futatabi. This endeavor proved to be a pivotal moment in his journey as a mangaka, ultimately garnering him the prestigious 34th Newcomer Manga Award from Weekly Shonen magazine. The recognition Miura received from Futatabi underscored his burgeoning talent and set the stage for his future contributions to the world of manga. Following the success of Futatabi, Miura's creative endeavors continued with the publication of his next work, NOA, in a fresh magazine later that same year. Despite the anticipation surrounding this release, NOA failed to achieve the same level of success as its predecessor, revealing the unpredictable nature of the manga industry. This experience, however, did not deter Miura from pushing the boundaries of his creativity and pursuing new opportunities. In 1988, Kentaro Miura found himself as the apprentice of Buronson, co-creator of Fist of the North Star, on a project titled King of Wolves. This collaboration showcased Miura's versatility and willingness to explore diverse genres within the manga landscape. Concurrently, during this period, he unveiled a prototype of what would later become his magnum opus Berserk. This 48-page prototype, published in Hakusensha's monthly Komi-Komi, participated in Komi-Komi's 7th manga school competition, securing an impressive second place.
At first, I didn't have any advanced plan. I just thought to do a shonen fantasy manga with a dark hero, because the manga of mine that had received a prize was published in a shonen magazine. A hero that suited shonen magazines, and well, there weren't that many fantasy manga at the time. If I had to name any, just bastard. So I thought about going for a niche genre, but that's all. I couldn't see any further than that. It was my first serialization not based on an original work. First of all, I focused on creating an atypical hero.
The journey towards the creation of Berserk continued to unfold, with the full serialization of the series commencing in Hakusensha's monthly Animal House in 1989. This marked the beginning of Miura's most famous and successful work, a dark fantasy epic that would captivate readers worldwide. The serialization of Berserk not only solidified Miura's status as a prominent mangaka, but also laid the foundation for a narrative that would resonate with fans and critics alike for years to come. From its inception, Miura's magnum opus distinguished itself with its intricate world-building, complex characters, and a narrative that dared to delve into the darkest corners of the human psyche. Set in a medieval-inspired world, plagued by demonic forces and political intrigue, Berserk introduced readers to the formidable and enigmatic protagonist, Guts. The character of Guts, with a massive sword, the Dragon Slayer, and his tormented past, became the focal point of the narrative. Miura's meticulous attention to detail, both in artwork and storytelling, elevated Berserk beyond the confines of conventional manga. The series explored themes of fate, free will, and the struggle against overwhelming adversity, all set against the backdrop of visceral and often brutal action. The 1990s witnessed the gradual rise of Berserk as a cult favorite among manga enthusiasts. The series resonated with readers who were drawn to its mature themes, intricate plot, and stunning visuals. Miura's unique artistic style, characterized by detailed and darkly atmospheric illustrations, set Berserk apart from the other manga of its time. Early chapters feature a rougher developing art style, seeing heavy usage of pencil shading, while chapters from around 1992 onwards saw a more refined, inky art style, partly due to Miura's improving skills, but also the adoption of new assistants. At the heart of Berserk were the complex relationships between its central characters, particularly the dynamic between Guts and Griffith. The charismatic and enigmatic Griffith, leader of the mercenary band known as the Band of the Hawk, played a pivotal role in shaping Guts' destiny. Their friendship, betrayal, and the ensuing struggle for revenge formed the emotional core of the narrative.
I think there were a bunch of things overlapping in my mind, and they start coming together around the third volume of Berserk. First of all, if Guts is angry, there is going to have to be an object of that anger. So I asked myself what people get angry at, and well, something you see a lot is the murder of one's parents. But as I already said, I was someone who friendship mattered a lot to, so the idea of making the target of Guts' anger a friend, or at least a man of the same general age, naturally came to mind, so I put the character in. But then I have to give the reason why Guts is so angry, so then we have the Band of the Hawk, where I make use of my own past.
Miura's exploration of the human condition, morality, and the consequences of ambition struck a chord with readers. The characters in Berserk were not mere archetypes, but layered individuals with conflicting motivations and shades of grey. This complexity added depth to the storytelling, inviting readers to contemplate the blurred lines between hero and villain. The success of Berserk in the manga world paved the way for its adaptation into an anime series. In 1997, the first Berserk anime, known as the Berserk Kenpu Denki, was released. The anime covered the Golden Age arc, a significant portion of the manga that delved into Guts and Griffith's shared history.
Berserk is my very first comic book and anime, so I was very excited. I wanted to make something good. I could have just let the studio staff do the work, but I gave some advice on the outlines of the character designs. But my main concern was the scripts. They'd send me scripts and I'd revise them and make changes. I checked all the scripts and made a lot of changes and requests on all of them. I bet the writers hate me.
The translation from manga to anime presented both opportunities and challenges. The anime sought to capture the essence of Miura's detailed artwork, while translating the intense emotional and action sequences to the screen. While the anime received praise for its faithful adaptation of the source material, some fans lamented the omission of certain scenes and the use of 2D animation techniques that, while advanced for its time, struggled to fully convey Miura's intricate art style. Despite these challenges, the Berserk anime further expanded the series' reach, introducing the dark fantasy world to a broader audience. The iconic opening theme, Tell Me Why, by the Pen Pals, became synonymous with the series and added to its cultural impact. By the mid-1990s, Berserk had evolved from a cult favorite to a cultural phenomenon in Japan. The series had garnered a dedicated fanbase that eagerly awaited each new manga release and followed the anime adaptation with fervor. Berserk merchandise, including figurines, posters, and even video games, flooded the market, attesting to the series' influence on popular culture. The themes explored in Berserk resonated with a generation grappling with the complexities of life, identity, and morality. Miura's narrative, while rooted in the fantasy genre, touched upon universal truths and existential questions that transcended cultural boundaries. The philosophical underpinnings of Berserk invited discussion and interpretations, further solidifying its place in the pantheon of influential manga.
In terms of manga, I was head and shoulders above everyone in terms of drawing, but at the same time I looked up to the guy who used to act as the leader. He was very much like Griffith in terms of his ability. He was the type who put his money where his mouth was, and he even had a bit of that touch of the divine feel to him. But in terms of violence though, I'd say he was very much like Guts. He would go out and get into fights every day and then come to my house afterwards and say, "Alright, let's draw some manga." And then he'd go to his part-time job the next day, sleep deprived. He was a wonder. So in order to keep up with him, I felt like I needed some sort of trick of my own, and I decided to work hard on drawing manga. Later on though, I would find out that apparently he used to act violently and the way he did because he was amazed at my ability at manga. So then, in university, he gave up becoming a manga artist, and he decides he'll do things that the rest of us will be jealous of. Sleep with 100 girls, get hired on some first-rate company, that sort of thing, and he manages to pull it off. Then he becomes an illustrator and starts pulling in tens of millions of yen a year while he's still in his 20s. but it's still manga he wants to do, so in the end he throws it all away and starts from square one in the manga industry.
As Berserk continued to gain popularity, the pressure on Kentaro Miura intensified. The demands of serialized manga, with its relentless deadlines and expectations, took a toll on the mangaka. Miura found himself navigating the delicate balance between meeting the demands of a vicarious fanbase and maintaining the artistic integrity that defined Berserk. The intricate detail of Miura's art, combined with the complexity of the narrative, required an immense amount of time and effort. As the series progressed, the pressure to deliver chapters on a consistent basis became increasingly challenging. Miura's dedication to maintaining the quality of his work, even in the face of these challenges, demonstrated his unwavering commitment to his craft.
As for my usual daily schedule, I get up around 7 to 8 p.m. I start work around 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. I work and then eat, and then I work again until the next break at 3 a.m. when I take one meal. Until 3:30 a.m. I watch a video that I recorded on that day while eating. And then I get back to work. After that, I have my last meal at 6 a.m. and work until around 12 p.m. until 1, 2 or 3 p.m. at the latest, and until 11 or 11:30 a.m. at the earliest. It's my normal working routine.
Amidst the strain of serialization, Miura faced a dilemma that many mangakas encounter: the need for occasional hiatuses. Berserk went through periods of hiatus, leaving fans eagerly awaiting the next installment. While some readers expressed frustration over the irregular release schedule, many recognized the toll that constant work took on Miura's well-being. During these hiatuses, Miura used the time to recharge and meticulously plan the next phases of the story. The complexity of Berserk's narrative required careful consideration, and Miura's commitment to delivering a cohesive and emotionally resonant tale meant that he would not compromise on the quality. The 2000s saw a significant surge in Berserk's popularity in the West. The dark and mature themes explored in the manga resonated with the Western audience hungry for narratives that pushed the boundaries of conventional storytelling. The series gained a dedicated following, with fans praising its deep philosophical underpinnings, intricate character development, and the haunting beauty of Miura's artwork. The influence of Berserk extended beyond manga and anime. Permeating Western pop culture, the impact of Guts, Griffith, and the grim world they inhabited found echoes in various forms of media, from literature to video games. Miura's creation had become a touchstone for artists and storytellers seeking to explore the darker facets of human nature. As the 2010s dawned, Berserk continued to thrive, with adaptations breathing new life into Miura's magnum opus. In 2012, a film trilogy titled Berserk Golden Age Arc was released, covering the Golden Age storyline. While the films garnered attention for their somewhat faithful portrayal of the source material, some fans expressed discontent over the incorporation of 3D animation, believing it failed to capture the essence of Miura's intricate hand-drawn art. Controversies surrounded the 2016 and 2017 anime adaptations, which covered the Conviction and Falcon of the Millennium Empire arcs. The decision to use a combination of 2D and 3D animation polarized the fanbase. While some appreciated the attempt to adapt later arcs of the manga, others criticized the animation quality, feeling it did not do justice to Miura's detailed and visceral illustrations. Despite the controversies, these adaptations introduced Berserk to a new generation of viewers. The anime series brought Guts' journey to life, depicting the struggles and horrors he faced in a world haunted by demons and political intrigue. The adaptations, while imperfect, kept the flame of Berserk burning, ensuring its continued presence in the realm of animated entertainment. Throughout the adaptations and rising popularity, Miura continued to work in the manga, steering the narrative through intricate plotlines and character developments. However, as the decade progressed, fans began to notice irregularities in the manga's release schedule, signaling the toll on Miura's health and the challenges he faced in maintaining the demanding pace of serialization. The news of Miura's health issues added a layer of complexity to the fandom's relationship with Berserk. While readers eagerly awaited each new chapter, there was an underlying understanding of the need for Miura to prioritize his well-being. The delays and hiatuses, once a source of frustration, became moments of collective concern and support from the fanbase.
I have no holidays. For the past year, no holidays at all. I finally have 2 weeks of holiday now, but it will be used to look for a new house. I should move. I see the morning sun through the veranda. I come out of the veranda and the morning sun is so bright it dazzles my eyes. I can concentrate best on my work under the light of this lamp. I don't see the sunlight. I'm a vampire.
The devastating news of Kentaro Miura's passing sent shockwaves through the global manga and anime community. On May 6, 2021, it was revealed that Miura had succumbed to an acute aortic dissection, a sudden and often fatal condition affecting the heart's main artery. The news of his death left fans and fellow creators in mourning, as the world grappled with the loss of a visionary artist whose impact transcended the boundaries of his chosen medium. Miura's untimely death at the age of 54 marked the end of an era for Berserk and the broader world of manga. The series, which had become a cultural touchstone, was left in a state of limbo, its future uncertain. The void left by Miura's absence was felt not only by fans but by the entire creative community that admired and respected his contributions to the art form. The circumstances surrounding Miura's passing underscored the challenges faced by mangakas in the industry. The demanding nature of serialized manga, coupled with the expectations of a dedicated fanbase, placed immense pressure on creators to deliver consistently. Miura's dedication to his craft had been evident throughout his career, but it all came at a cost: his health. The news prompted a reflection on the toll that the manga industry takes on its creators. The intense workload, coupled with the expectation for regular releases, created a challenging environment that can adversely affect the physical and mental well-being of mangakas. Miura's passing served as a sobering reminder of the sacrifices made by artists in their pursuit of creating compelling and impactful narratives. Following Kentaro Miura's tragic passing in May 2021, Kuji Mori, a longtime friend and fellow mangaka, arguably a model for the deep rivalry between Berserk's main characters, suspected to be the rival mentioned in the quote earlier about a budding mangaka who resorted to street brawling, assumed the responsibility of continuing the iconic series. The announcement in September 2021 stirred a mix of anticipation and apprehension among fans, as Miura's unique artistic style and narrative vision had become synonymous with the dark fantasy epic. Mori, known for works like Suicide Island and The Cradle of Monsters, embarked on the challenging task of steering Berserk into uncharted territory, bringing his own artistic flair while respecting the legacy left by Miura.
Meetings for Berserk are very important to me. I discuss with the team what Miura was saying, sometimes getting sidetracked by old stories. There are still difficult times, but I feel I can gradually recover as long as I have this time. I can still face my desk.
As readers delved into the chapters under Mori's guidance, the transition marked a unique chapter in the series' history. Fans followed the ongoing narrative with a blend of curiosity and nostalgia, eager to see how Mori would navigate the intricate world Miura had crafted. The continuation of Berserk under Mori's stewardship became a poignant exploration of collaboration within the artistic community and a testament to the enduring legacy of the series that had left an indelible mark on the manga landscape. As the manga community mourned the loss of Kentaro Miura, tributes poured in from fans, fellow mangakas and industry professionals. Miura's impact on the medium was evident in the outpouring of grief and gratitude for the profound stories he had shared with the world. The legacy of Berserk continued to resonate, serving as a testament to Miura's artistic vision and storytelling prowess. While Miura's death marked the end of his physical presence, his legacy lived on through Berserk, and the immense impact it had on readers and creators alike. Fans continued to celebrate his work, re-examining the themes and nuances within Berserk that had resonated so deeply with audiences around the world. The series became a bittersweet reminder of Miura's brilliance and a lasting testament to the enduring power of storytelling. In conclusion, Kentaro Miura's journey from his formative years to the creation of Berserk encapsulates the transformative power of art and storytelling. His childhood influences, artistic evolution, and the challenges faced during his career coalesced into a body of work that transcended genres and captivated hearts. Berserk became a cultural phenomenon, a dark fantasy epic that explored the complexities of the human condition. A quote from Kuji Mori:
Miura was a manga genius bursting with talent. He had an eagerness to see things through to the end, as well as an outstanding ability to paint, conceive stories, and employ narrative devices effectively.
Miura's passing marked the end of a chapter, but his legacy endured through the pages of Berserk and the impact it had on the manga and anime landscape. The tragedy prompted reflections on the toll of the industry on creators' well-being, sparking important conversations about the need for a more sustainable and supportive environment. As fans continued to revisit the world of Berserk and discover its profound narratives, Kentaro Miura's influence continued to echo in the hearts of those who had been touched by his art. The legacy of this luminary, whose imagination knew no bounds, lived on through the characters, themes, and worlds he brought to life. In the realm of manga, Kentaro Miura has become synonymous with artistic brilliance and storytelling mastery. While the world mourned the loss of a visionary creator, the stories he shared with us remained as enduring testaments to the indomitable power of the human imagination.